Thank you so much for staying tuned. I really appreciate you standing by to get to hear from our discussants what they feel about the topics I earlier shed light on, because someone just said, well, if you really want to travel, you don't have to go through our roads. Even our communities, they are not that safe because of infringements, because of how will I put it now, the kind of a chagrin of some set of persons that don't want peace in the country. They are almost everywhere, according to report. Because of that, the Southwest governors, they came together and they formed an outfit. Yes, you might have heard about the Amotekun Corps. Now the Southeast, they say they're going to form their own here in the South. Yes, the governors are beginning to come together, but they are starting to come together. That is all we've heard for now. What steps are they taking to make this region, Edo State in particular, safe? Because safety, they say, is paramount to development and socio-economic growth. Yeah, if you want to take a look at the economy, take a look at politics, take a look at any transaction, security, they say, is paramount. State of the nation, security challenges. Then after that, we'll delve into the dip in oil price, talking about the fall in price of oil from $65 per barrel to now 36 or 35 or thereabout due to coronavirus. And according to report, it may or it has already affected the budget because adjustment needs to be made. How does it really affect us as a country? Two topics for us to take a look at this beautiful Sunday morning. With me here in the studio, I'd like to start my introduction by introducing the boss of a local government, talking about Ovia Northeast. Begging your pardon, local government area. Join me to welcome Napoleon Obama, Chairman. Welcome to the show.
Thank you
I appreciate your coming.
Thank you very much.
Sorry for that mix-up. Yes, it's Unwode local government area. Now, you might have heard about Ultimate Equal. He is always a voice to be heard, to be reasoned with. He is like that outspoken gentleman that chooses to bring out the ills and, of course, the good deeds of the government of the day. Join me to welcome Patrick Iholo, Ultimate Equal. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having
I
me.
appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
All right. You might have heard about that random act of kindness. You might have heard a name in the social media, in the print media, and, of course, on TV also. He is a vibrant. You talks about good governance, talks about taking care of the poor and, of course, the needy. Join me to welcome Ambassador Dion Osaige. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, viewers.
All right. Now, let me start off with the chairman of Unwode local government area, because he's the boss of the local government, and the intel that will be available to him may not be available to us about the security situation in this country vis-a-vis our locality in Edo State. You as a boss from your own area, how do you feel about this?
Thank you very much. I think the security issue across the country, yes, is very tense. But that is not to say that there is not going to be a solution. And I believe the solution is almost around us. Don't forget that Nigeria is a giant of Africa. Just like every other African countries, we always run to a white country for a greener pasture. So all other African countries who cannot move overseas, they don't move to Nigeria. And that is what we are seeing, all kinds of foreigners to the country. We cannot deprive so many of them not to come, because we are the giant of Africa, like I said, the leader of Africa. That's what we do not need criminals or migrants into our society that would disturb our peace. And I believe every government, every councils are already working seriously to make sure that those migrants within our societies are do away with.
Okay, thank you so much for the opening, giving the solid foundation for this discussion. Ultimate Equal, I believe that you travel to and fro the country, even outside the country, might have access security situation in various parts of the world, and comparing them to a country, Nigeria, and zooming it down also to Edo State. What are your opinions on this?
It's clear, I want to say it's a privilege to be with the chairman of Ondo local government. Also a privilege to meet my brother, who is very kind. I've seen some of his very good work. But I want to disagree a little bit that Nigeria is a giant of Africa. It's not true. We've been deceived for so long. Nigeria is very weak. Nigeria needs to improve. It's my country. I love my country very greatly. But the truth has to be said, and we have to speak truth to power. We're going to tell our children that Nigeria is the greatest and it's a giant of Africa. We mislead them because there's a lot of errors that's wrong with us here. Actually, you said security is paramount. It's guaranteed in our constitution that the government had to secure life and property, and they had actually failed us in that regard. I also say that there are a lot of challenges that we're going through. This is a thing very possible, as it said, that we can be nip on the bud. But however, we haven't got the courageous leaders that is going to really transform it and really make that change that we all duly deserve. It is easy to provide security, very easy, because we have a lot of unemployment youths who are really bad, they have done all the needful or the right in their life. Their mothers struggle to take them through the primaries and secondary, whereas the university institutions today they are unemployed. And if we are really serious about security, first of all, we need courageous leaders. We need people who can speak truth to power. We need to give our people orientation. We need to holistically change the security apparatus. We need to go into the police force. We need to empower the police more, pay them money, give them better security, flush out the bad ones away from the systems who collaborate with these, whether herdsmen or bandits or kidnappers. It is true that we are human, and human can make unavoidable mistakes. Nigeria is a blessed country. I will agree with that, but we are not anywhere close to the giant of Africa.
Right now, that is left for others to really decide on, because we are called the giant of Africa, and that's what we are in this country. After all, we are the first, economically speaking, in Africa. But all the same, you have your good reasons and, of course, your strong points for saying that we are not the giant of Africa due to the points you've given. Let me come to you, Dion Osangi. I believe that you've been talking about this in the social media and the print media, even in electronic media, and now you are here with us. You've traveled far and wide. You've been able to compare, contrast security apparatus and situation globally. How do you feel about what is happening in our country, security-wise?
Well, we're saying, thank you for the question. I'd like to say that security in our country, we still have a long, long way to go. Looking at the current situation we have in this country, thousands and millions of youth are unemployed is a big factor affecting security and development. There's no economy that can grow without proper security. If we must effect change in that area, we must look at getting the youth engaged. Until we are able to do that, we cannot qualify ourselves as the giant of Africa. I don't think that the amount of people or the economy defines us as a giant. When a country in Europe, a poor country in Europe, can boast of 24 hours of electricity, when you go around the city center, let's use those states, Benin City as a case study, when you go around the city center, which is Ring Road, after 7 o'clock it's dead, it's dark. How do we guarantee security? Until we are able to fix the basics, employment, electricity, putting food in the table. We cannot boast of security until we are able to make sure that family can have a square meal. There are so many young people who are graduates of different universities who cannot even afford a meal a day. They say that a hungry man is an angry man. These are major issues. So unemployment for me is a very, very big key that is affecting security in the country, and we still have a very, very long way to go, I say. Thank you.
We still have a very long way to go. Well, Chairman, you've heard them. They talked about security situation that is almost nothing to write home about. Now, some region in the country choose to form their own security outfit. They are working on it. They are almost through. But here in the South region, and of course the Southeast, it's like they're talking about it. No meaningful actions have been taken to form the security outfit. What do you think it is deterring us from carrying out what is essential for us to have adequate security?
Thank you very much. I think the Western Bloc has started with that arrangement. And I believe the South Side and the Southeast are already on it very seriously. Just that a pronouncement has not been fully made. And I believe in a very short period, the pronouncement will be made. Like the rally say, I agree with them because of so many of our young ones are out there after graduation, don't work, and the population is swelling every day. And almost every three months or 4 months, you see graduates coming out of school and passing out of NYSC 1 year program without no work. That is why the federal government, under the leadership of Buhari, when he said diversification from normal system to agriculture, because the only way we can be fully engaged is going back to agriculture and all of that area of work. Like none of our people today want to even go into just job, like if you go into a trade like carpentry, big laying, shoemaker or whatever, no one want to go into those areas again. But we must come back, we must go to those areas, because even the foreign countries we run to, these are things they use to make and even our people go there, that is at work they all go there to do. Why not do it at home? Why not let go into this agriculture so that we can be fully engaged? And that, like I said, a hungry man is an angry man. So and that is why I agree with them that definitely it has been one of the root cause of insecurity everywhere. But that not me may. We must go back to this regional arrangement of security that all other regions are now doing. Because if you look at the police today, I think it's one police to almost 100 persons. How can one police be guiding 400 persons? We need to have more security levels because the population is swearing on daily basis.
On daily basis. All right. There seems to be an agreement right now between the panelists due to security challenges in the country. But as we are talking, some of the opinion that from the observations, foreigners, they call them foreigners, some of them even tag them invaders, are penetrating across borders of the south, even the southeast, the southwest, the north also is not safe. How can this be checked? Because some are for good, while some have nefarious intent in their heart.
Again, let me break it down for you, little by little, okay? Why I agree with Chairman for what he said in his last comment, but let me break it down. Nigeria is a cause of their problem, and nobody can solve Nigeria problem other than Nigerians. First of all, let us say if it is true, because we know that we fought for autonomous for local government chairman. When I say we, I was in that forefront to say that somebody like a chairman here who is seated with here today has a right to his own local government, has a right to his own funds, because it's a challenge to him. He was elected. People said, we choose you to represent us. If he has the autonomous power, he will have the will. And when there's a will, there will be a way. For example, in the period that I was living in Mississauga, Ontario, and Mississauga, Ontario becomes one of the best cities in the world, and a woman was the mayor of that city. So let me say boldly here that he's a mayor of a county. But what we have here is nepotism and favoritism. People are not given their autonomous power to perform what they ought to perform because of this nepotism and favoritism. But having said that, Mr. Chairman also said that we have some people coming from the neighboring country and all that. The reason is true, I agree with him, but because the Nigerian government has also failed us. I am a Canadian, and Canadians share common border with America. You can walk into Buffalo from Niagara Falls, but the immigration will still question you. In spite that, the Americans and the Canadians are brothers and sisters. They still have a right to validate you before you enter into America. You can't just walk into America because you're a Canadian. So in as much as we love our African brothers and sisters, we are the so-called supposedly giant of Africa, we wanted to come here and partner or trade with us, we still have to set up a proper immigration system. We have to have what you call a social security number, which is possible. If you can have a BVN today, it tells you that social security number is possible. The issue with Nigeria is that, have you ever thought or imagined that when a Nigerian man travels out of the shore of Nigeria, it becomes very prosperous, it becomes very progressive, it becomes a very, what would I use now? It becomes an achiever. Then don't you think that something is wrong about our leadership here? Then go back again into what you call security. What will give you security is unemployment. What will give you unemployment is when people are given a right to duly work and perform. Release the money to local government to do their job. Let the judiciary be separated, because we have 3 arms of power. But we have given so much power to executive to decide what is wrong or what is right. And that's why you see there was a show of shame in our nation very recently when somebody, without mentioning it, was caught with huge dollars. And the same person was the same person who what do you call it? Is it deposed an emir of Kano, who is very intelligent, who is very smart, who is very bright. His only offense was to say, we have too many Amajarin rolling the street. You are asking me to quench the fire, build more school, and equip these people, equip women, make them be a participant in our election. Let everybody have a right to go to school.
Right.
And that was his offense.
Okay.
So if we change this narrative, I bet you there will be security in Nigeria. The insecurity will change. Let us purge the system. Let us send these people out packing.
Okay, let's send them out packing. Now, Dion, you've heard him. He spoke at length. He will give an example of what is happening in the country. He talked about immigration officers doing their job. Even if you want to migrate from one state to the other, they should be there to check, to identify you. Is that what we are lacking right now in this country?
Well, for me, I do not think that checking our brothers, Nigerians in particularly, migrating from one state to the other is the solution. I really think that creating a biometric system, identification system, many Nigerians cannot be identified. More than 50% of our population do not have a single ID. So we must create an ID system, a biometric system, to identify every individual. How can we continue to live in a country whereby if I'm looking for Ustaze, I don't know where to locate him? So this is a very, very big failure that is affecting security in a major way. I think that the government needs to look into creating a biometric system that will identify every Nigerian in this country. Until we're able to do that, we are not moving forward. And also our chairman spoke about youth into agriculture. I strongly agree. With my own platform, I've been able to empower so many young people into agriculture. But it is not that young people don't want to go into agriculture. But young people do not want to focus back on the analog type of farming. You expect a young man who studied agriculture in school, did 5 years, to go back into farm with cutlass and all and start digging. It's not possible. We have equipment in 21st century that can make things easy for young people. As I speak to you right now, Wilson, I have over 20 proposals of young people who want to go into farming. They want to go into farming, but there's no empowerment. When you look at the state government, we have the Commissioner of Agriculture. You ask yourself, what is the commissioner doing to give some young people a chance? How can you study agriculture in the University of Benin? You have never done any kind of farming. So the government needs to create an enabling environment in every sector that will empower the youth. There are so many young people who want to go into farming. So for me, I do not agree that people don't want to go. I love farming. I am not a farmer, but last year I was able to raise about 10,000 fishes. So imagine other young people who have the same dream, but they are not empowered. So I think empowerment is what is lacking, and the young people need to be engaged, need to be empowered, so that they can do what they need to do to ease security in Nigeria.
All right, now you've heard them. We've talked about employment, talked about identification, talked about some various jobs that can really be given to these young dudes to get themselves busy. Well, when we return after this break, we will take a look at the aspect of banditry and, of course, some killer headsmen. I wouldn't want to push it to one tribe right now. Kidnapping. Let's get to hear from analysts what should be done, or what do they think should be done by the government, individual, both from federal, states and local to really curb this, because that seems to be the fear of so many persons. You get to hear about Odogotwe in Edo State. You get to hear also of Iseluku in Delta State. You get to hear Benue State, Makurdi. You get to hear attacks here and there. Even across the expressway, you get to hear and see videos, several videos of some people being kidnapped, being robbed, being named. Come on, what should really be done about this? When we return, we are going to throw more light on this. Do stay tuned.
TMI. Every opinion counts.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. We are still taking a look at the state of the nation, security challenges, and how to really surmount them. My analysts have talked about the unemployment rate and how to get youths involved. Talked about identification. They also talked about immigration officials doing their job for easy identification of these persons, for us to know all those people that we ought to know. Our brothers, our sisters, do that from other states. After all, is one Nigeria. Now, sir, we have this issue of you get to hear about frequent clash between herders and farmers. You get to hear about the situation also of kidnappers on our highways, even in our farms. People are scared to go to the farm. It's still very much ongoing. What do you think can be done about this?
Thank you very much, Lucy. I think almost on weekly basis now, we are the council chairman in the state. His Excellency, the governor of the state, have been rubbing mind seriously on how we can solve this problem of riders and farmers problem. In fact, in Obia, the one West, almost virtually every local government are feeling it, apart from the already we have observed that most of these riders or cattle rearers or whatever name you call them are now mixed with migrants who are not even part of that system. That is why we are having it difficult with our farmers. They go into it very far farmlands, not even very close like we knew them to be. Because cattle rearer before this time, you see them going along the roads, doing whatever business they are doing. But now you see them in a very hard, thick forest. And we have been asking, what are you looking for in that forest that are not there along the roads? What motive do you have that you want to go into that forest? And that is why in so many areas, it's not difficult for farmers to even go to farm. They rape women, they kidnap and do whatever. And we have found out that most of them are not Nigerians.
They are not Nigerians?
They are not Nigerians. Just of recent, just about 2 weeks back now, when we were in a security meeting too, myself and Orion, we raised an alarm over one Idris. And in fact, since Idris has been under the dock of DSS, relatively there will be peace in those areas. Because in one of my peace and security meetings, he boasted that he is the chairman of illegal immigrants in Edo State. And in fact, such persons who are not Nigerian, that is why that day in the meeting, the immigration chiefs were there, and I do say that immigration, you must wake up to your responsibility. If immigration departments are waking up to their responsibility to say these are not Nigerians, and they, yes, like I said earlier, that Nigeria is a giant of Africa, people can come into Nigeria, but it doesn't need those miscreants or those criminals in our midst. This should be the work of immigration to make sure that these people are part of our system. Until the immigration wake up to their responsibility, I think it will be difficult, because the law is there, is not just there for us as a local government to apprehend or probably to go into the area and start repatriating them. For instance, in Rwanda, if you go to Inya today, this morning, if you go there, you will see all sorts of some in Niger, Chad, Cameroon, all of them are there. If you go to Lahore, go to Bajosho, go to Lahore, it is all, because these are all settlement of these people. Or the immigration need to wake up to their responsibility.
Right.
And another thing we found out is that most of our leaders were hard-working community leaders. They take gratification from these people.
Gratification?
And when they take gratification, that tendency is there for them to say, I'll pay for it, and I must go into the forest to do the business I want to do. And we have been preaching to all our community leaders to disengage themselves from all those petty gratification from anybody that will later turn out to be a security threat to the community and to the state.
All right. Now, he has given some expose into what is really happening as a local government boss. Like what I said before, he will preview to some information that will not preview to. Now, he talked about these persons not being Nigerians that are from outside of Nigerians. These are foreigners. He even mentioned a name that was notorious, but though he's been apprehended. He talked about also the immigration. And now, some farmers, they just came, was like, we are tired of all this. Can you believe that we're asked to start paying tokens for us to go have access to our farms? I mean, according to it has gotten that bad. Ultimate equal, take it up from there.
Well, you know, like, God, I think it's a joke, you know, really a joke. And this 21st century that Nigerians, as powerful as a citizen, not as a country, that we are laughing stock. You know, the reason I said that it's not far-fetched is that I want to also quickly say something before I take a swap on that. That my brother Osagi said we should, you know, monitor or can't, you know, let Nigeria flow. I didn't say that. I agree with him very well that we need biometrics. And that's really why I measure the BVN, which is similar to what you are prescribing. And also to, when I also said SIN, which is known as Social Security Number, the BVN covers it. And also what the chairman rightly said again, that he's a local government chairman. He doesn't have a control over the influx of illegal immigrants in his own area, which of course is true. That would be an infringement to human rights. Supposedly we find out that those one is suspecting to be in Niger or Cameroon are actually Nigerian. So again, it boils down again to the government. Now, thank God that people are aware of coronavirus virus is everywhere. Now, the virus is out there. We said, yes, of course, people have been quarantined. People had looking for means of trying to eradicate this epidemic. It's not a global epidemic. Now, it is not just the virus we are saying. Anybody having Nigeria institution that have failed us like immigration is coronavirus. Any governor that have failed us is coronavirus.
Okay.
Any senators that have failed us is coronavirus. Any police that have not been able to assist us is coronavirus. So we should try and also try and fumigate these people. Fumigate them out because they're not serious. It's a laughing stock that Nigeria doesn't have biometrics to check their citizens. Nigeria is the only country that somebody can wake up and say, my date of birth is 24 December 1964, and go to immigration and get a passport. We don't have death registry. We don't have a birth registry. When people die, you're not supposed to bury them without going to the city. If I'm from a wound there, and I passed, or my mother passed, what you do first is go there to say my dad passed. They will give you a death certificate. When I also have a child and from a wound there, what I will do first is to take a birth certificate that I'm from a wound there. The statistics that you know, the numbers you have. Nigeria always assume that we are 200 million, we are 300 million. Come on, is that not preposterous that as great as we are, as intelligent as we are, we simply did not even know and counting number to know how many we truly are as citizens. So again, you go back to Republic of Benin. If you want to go and come into Nigeria, all you have to do is pay 500 naira or 1,000. It's just about collection. Nigerians are not patriotic. Whether you are talking about the road safety, how many tuk-tuk drivers have a fire extinguisher? How many tuk-tuk drivers have spare tire? How many of them have, truly speaking, better? But the rough city doesn't even care about them. They let them go. They monitor some pretty women, stop them, or target some Yahoo boy, stop them, and so they're asking some ridiculous questions. The problem is that we have to really fumigate Nigeria. We fumigate Nigeria. Nigeria is the only country you still say malaria kill people, and yet you have various ministers of health. How can malaria kill your citizen? When I was growing up, we used to fumigate everywhere from the sky. Malaria were less. And now today we are in the 2020 the millennium, and today we still have malaria. Thank God the real coronavirus disease is not here. There will have been no Nigeria again.
All right, thank God for that. Now let's go to the security situation. He talked about fumigating the entire system. Take out this person. Now, what about the testimony of these farmers that came and said, look, we are even taxed by these killer headsmen, so to speak, these bandits, to gain access to our farms. And from what Chairman said, these are not Nigerians. Ambassador Dion, take it up from that.
Well, Mr. Wilson, thank you for the question. Like you know, I've traveled around the world. I don't think that people coming into our states or our country should be a problem. I really think that the security issue has to do with the government. Any security issue or challenges that cannot be solved in 7 days, it means that the government has a hand in it. You cannot tell me that there are people killing your people and you are not doing anything about it.
That is your own opinion.
Yes,
people may have different opinion.
Of course, it's my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think it's right. You know, you cannot expect foreigners coming to your own land where we have a chief security officer as a governor. You are not able to solve it. All right? The problem is the people who are supposed to help us solve security issues, the police, the army, whatever, they are not doing an effective job. They focus on the wrong people. Just 2 weeks ago, Wilson, a friend of mine came from Spain, works with a big brand in Spain. He was arrested by the SARS department here in Benin. They looked at his hand. What did he do? Nothing. They looked at his hand and said, "You are a cultist." Took him, took 50,000 naira away from him. These are some of the issues we're having in this country. Like my brother said, this country is in a serious coronavirus. What is coronavirus? Killing people, people dying of hunger, people dying of accidents, Fulani men shooting people along the way. That is coronavirus.
No, we're going to use the word Fulani men right now. These are bandits. They're bandits.
Bandits.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I really think that the security challenges we have has a lot to do with the state government. They do not provide enough provisions to keep our citizens safe. If we have more police, if we have more SARS that are doing their jobs effectively, I think there can be a change. Let them pay the security men well. You don't expect a man or a family man who earns about 50,000 naira as a policeman, wife and kids in school. Of course, they are bound to take bribes. When the police officers are well paid, I think there can be a major change in the security area. I don't see anything wrong with foreigners coming into our country, but if they come into the country, let there be a regulation, let there be a force that makes sure that they are okay.
But in this context, who is not regulating them? Because for what he said, these are, as in, they have the boldness. Because for what he said, also some of our community elders or leaders have saw their hands. That's what you get to hear them say, after all, I have paid for this parcel of land, I've paid for this, I'm part of you. And they tend to carry out these nefarious activities.
They don't have the right to the state. We have leaders, we have people who have right to the state. We have a government, we have people who can make laws, who can form community policing, we can form neighborhood watch programs, we can get some youth involved that if anything happens in one of the local government, you are going to be arrested. We need to get young people engaged. There are many young people wasting in different local governments who are not working. All right, young people like that can be given a platform to become neighborhood police. We can hire 100 persons in one day, for example, and say, you know what, if any crime happens in this area, we are coming for you. Trust me, we're going to have less crimes in those areas.
All right. Okay, sir, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me just enlighten you more that in every council we had what we call vigilante groups and hunters. We have to add the hunters because most of the forests that these nefarious art and people they are better known by the hunters. And that is why we involve hunters to our vigilantes. But that has they have their own limit by way of law. You understand? Like I said earlier on, our police today, I have 3 divisional police, 3 DPOs, 3 divisions. But the 3 divisions put together, I think the manpower there is not up to 100.
It's not enough.
It's not up to 100. How can you, one policeman to about 300 or 400 persons? That is too far
below. There are
below.
many people that want to work.
Okay, hold on. He has the phone. I'm trying to explain something.
Yes, 100, like I said, 200-300 to one police. Yeah, we need to increase our security effort, and I believe that is what the Western Bloc have just started.
Yeah,
and it's going to go around. It's already getting momentum in other areas to make sure that they equally have their own. And by the time we have that, that will now be a sort of community policing, which will be backed by law. And when it is not backed by law, they will be able to act the way, or if not just the same, the federal police are doing.
Okay, all right.
Let me just quickly say something, you know, not to disagree with the both speakers, but let me add something to it, you know, that these things are not rocket science. It's very possible. When we employ the youth in the area, you have metropolitan police everywhere. You have the county police. The people in the area know those who are strangers to the area. Sure. When you employ them, truly speaking, it can prevent crime. But can we also ask a question, self-question here? Because the chairman have just said now that we have less police, which I agree with him 100%, you know, that police is citizens. But what is the cost of that again? It's coronavirus. Now, why would anybody call himself a leader of a political party or a chairman have 4 policemen, or a governor have 20 policemen, or a president having 100 policemen? If you are doing the right thing for your people, who wants to kill you? I was in Liberia recently you know, I happened to meet very important people in Liberia, including George Well, the president. I didn't see police with even chief judges. I didn't see police with any counting mayor, as you may call it. Why would anybody have 4 police, 6, 8? Some of them are even businessmen. And how did you now expect for us to have enough police to police the people? Now, the chairman just said now, he has 3 institutions in his own area with about 3 DPO, but they have less than 100 police. And you have some people have 5 police. So have 2 to their wives. Some have 3 to their children. And individual will have 10 police. Because again, nepotism and corruption. I mean, if I've run into Rollins in Ghana playing draft outside without a single police. Who wants to take your life if you are good? If you want to take it, then take it. What are you protecting that you can't even let your wife have an orgasm? Because the police is there.
I will not agree with you. You see, we have been talking of armed robbery kidnapping. Those that they kidnap on the roads, for what reason? Is it because they are bad? Or is it because whatever profession they are bad? No, because of the societal, the negative aspect of the society today. Because those boys or men that are into it, kidnapping or whatever, they want to make
quick money.
Quick money.
Yes, sir.
Quick money. Even you now, you are only here because by the grace of God. Because they kidnap any person that come their way, they kidnap. No, the retired or the chief judge, the appeal court woman they kidnapped the other time, they didn't know her. It is only when she was already in their custody, hearing from television, they now know that Amanda, so you are the appeal court person. You understand? It is not because they know that you are Mr. A or Mr. B or president or whatever. Because of this situation. And that is why you see most people have to protect themselves. The best protection is God. Even the police you talk about that is with people, guarding people or whatever you talk about.
Let me just
in most situations, those police are even the corporate.
Let me agree with Oga. Let me say something. What I is that I'm not agreeing with him.
Okay.
So he mentioned that we have less police, right? That's why I'm saying that we also have so many few individuals that is taking the manpower from the police. That's the area I'm talking about, sir. That nobody should have 5 police or 10, because you had agreed that it's only God that saved us. I am the ultimate equal. If I die today, okay, let it be. If I live today, Glory be to God. It is not that you have 100 police and no one can. And then again, let us also shift that narrative now to the pastors who give you sticker to put in your car. That the stickers will protect you in the blood of Jesus. And they have about 10 police. Let me finish, Wilson. If you don't let me finish, I won't come to your story again. Please, I'm not as smart as you are, okay? Now, why would you give me a sticker that will protect me by the blood of Jesus, and that same sticker will not protect you and your family, and you're having 10 mobile police or infantry? That is wrong, sir. Let us speak truth to power.
I have to agree with my brother because the fact remains that there are more police protecting individuals than the general public. There are more police protecting, you know.
The only area I agreed from what you have said earlier is that we need to increase our police force. And that will even give employment to the young ones.
It'll be good. But we also have to take some police away from this man of God who is giving us stickers. Don't give us stickers.
All right. I don't have authority over that.
Don't give us stickers. Ultimately, know that the sticker
I don't have authority over that.
Let that same sticker protect you and your family.
Ultimately, thank you. Well, we don't go into religious aspects right now. Yeah, because I'm following my chairman. Okay, now, well, whatever they say here is the opinion. It has nothing to do with ITV Radio. We're doing our best possible to make sure that for the rules and regulations governing the airwaves, it's all about state of the nation, security challenges. They're beginning to give reasons why we are still where we are, because it's like Nigerians are distracted by what is happening. So many things happening in this nation, but still there are some vital things we just cannot overlook. As we're having political issues, or having religious issues, we're having security challenges, and security, they say, is paramount to the survival of every society. Now, our roads are not well guarded. You get to say people being so afraid to even travel at night. What do you think should be done about this? Because at first we have these military checkpoints here and there, and they are saying that there's only pulling of militaries from these communities because they ought not to be outside the barracks. They are meant for external aggression. How can we secure our roads right now?
Well, Winston, thank you for the question once more. Again, it has everything to do with coronavirus. Majority of the incidents that happens in the highways are done by the first men, believe it or not.
But is that not a spontaneous accusation?
No, I don't think so.
Because some of them will differ.
No, well,
we have some situations where I get to hear that they are culprits of this, of that, but it is not all of them.
Mr. Wilson, if a policeman can stop you on the highway to collect a change of 100 naira from you, be rest assured that if he's seen you with millions of naira, he's going to rob you.
I agree with you.
You understand? So
your own opinion, you're not sure of that.
It is an opinion.
You don't have proof of that.
It is an opinion.
No, we've seen it. It's not about proof. It's viral everywhere. That police will even take 500 and the person will demand, where's my change? Come on now.
Don't you think they're generalizing?
No, we're not saying all police are bad.
Okay, fine.
Try always, if we continue to speak the truth, things will change.
Because when you keep saying police,
all
police
are not bad, but most of them, I mean, if you go to our highways today, police are there supposedly to protect us. Yeah. But you see that every step to take, there's a police. All they do is collection of money.
I'll come back to you. He has a product talking about collection of money. Some of them are there diligently putting their lives on the line for the protection of lives and properties.
I really appreciate the police force because of what they do. You go out there at night, no electricity, you see them with their torchlight. It is a terrible job, all right? But then again, we cannot protect our highways, we cannot protect our communities until we make sure that the police force is well empowered. How do you pay a policeman who risks his life every day, 30,000 naira a month with a family? Until a police force, until the salary is is good enough, there may never be security. Who is going to protect the highway? You can drive. Recently, I traveled from Torino to Paris by road at night. There was no single police on the way. There was no single traffic on the way. So until we are able to create employment, engage youths in every community, things cannot change. Because when a young person who finished from the university about 4 or 5 years ago, no food at home, the parents look up to him, of course, evil thoughts were going to come to his mind. I was in Abuja last weekend. A young man who left from Benin told me in a cab, in a taxi, that he had gone to a roadblock several times until he came to Abuja. So major issue we have is creating employment employment. I cannot say that enough. When a young person is engaged, you go to work in the morning, 8 a.m., come back at 6 p.m., you're going to be tired. But when a young person is at home all day, no food, thinking, what can I do to make money? Of course, there's going to be crimes in our highway. And the police force need to do their job. All right? The government need to encourage the policemen to effective salary so that they stop taking bribes. Right. If a policeman can take 20 naira as a bribe, that should tell you that they really need money.
Okay. All right, now to call it a wrap on this show, because our time is up, we have other guests to interview. What advice do you have for Nigerians, for Edo State, to local government chairman? Over to you.
What I think we do is orientation. We have to orientate ourselves.
100%.
Orientate ourselves, and at the same time, through orientation, I believe we are going to get there. We run to China today, we run to America, every other developed country today. It was developed by them. The formulation was by them. And let us do it the same way here in Nigeria. Through orientation, we'll get there.
Through orientation, we'll get there. Ultimate equal?
Well, you know, like Chairman have really said, I think it's one of the greatest panel today that we didn't really have so much differences. We completely almost agree on everything. But let me say, when I was growing up, there was a famous reggae artist. I mean, I love that music. I forgot his name. Maybe they will remember. He was constantly praying that way. Where are the prophets? Where are the prophets? Where are the prophets? Let's go into these homes of prophetic homes. Instead of casting demon and asking for tithes and all that, let us, you know, start to educate people that when we live and tolerate people, and when we speak and tell the governors or the senators and all that, that we don't need your egotic money here as sow of seed, that things will change. And also, let me quickly just say something that my brother was rightly said before now, that what are the state government doing about security? It's not particular about state government. It's the whole entire state. So the governors are not really responsible because they are also overwhelmed themselves, and that's why I would support this regional police that can serve as a metropolitan police.
All right, Dion, as a youth, your last line on this.
Dion is not a youth.
All right.
So you're not a youth.
You manage a youth. How can you say you are a youth? I disagree with that.
I'm not a youth. Yeah, I want to encourage every young person out there to not give up in Nigeria, to always be proactive. Think of the things you can do for your country. As a young person, you should be a part of nation building. Challenge yourself. You can be a governor, you can be a senator, you can lead. So I want to encourage you, don't give up. There's a better day ahead.
All right, gentlemen, I really appreciate a wonderful analysis. For the first time in a long time, all of you seem to agree to this discourse because it affects everybody. It affects you.
It's coronavirus.
Directly, it's coronavirus. Directly or indirectly. Well, you've heard them. Security.
That is, if it's a coronavirus, that means there's going to be a cure.
Yes. All right. We want to go for a break. We'll return. TMI will continue with yet another discussion segment. Do stay tuned.